There we go. Hey everyone. Delightful to see you. Surprise! A surprise live. Hey everyone. Come on in. Just make sure that is sorted. So, how's everyone doing? Is everyone having a God way? Let me know. Let me know who's here, where you're tuning in from. I went live at exactly 18:18, which is obviously magic numbers. Whenever you see double digits like that, you'll be aware obviously of angel numbers, the repeat digits, but also you can get magic numbers in just numbers that repeat themselves. So obviously 1111's the main one because there's 4 numbers, but if you see like 2020, 2121, 1818 on the clock, that's actually a very magical portal, because the whole of the ray is split up throughout the zodiac. So the whole ray, the whole 24 hours, there's 2 hours for each zodiac throughout the ray. So each of the zodiac governs a section of the ray, and then you can utilize that energy for your magic, and you can call upon the higher power of that zodiac for your magic. Hey, Lee Smith, hey. Jimmy D from Scotland. I'm light in Scotland. It's probably my favourite country in the UK. Ayahuasca, I've never tried it. I've tried DMT, and I would just really advise people to be fully ready for it, and also to not take it lightly. Take it all very kind of seriously, treat it like respectfully, treat it as like a really like powerful ritual, a healing opportunity, and kind of like keep it like holy and sacred, in the same with like treating yourself and your own healing holy and sacred. Because when I did DMT, I was like really expecting to just ride on a unicorn to the angels and have the best time. So I was just I was really like giddy and excited, can't wait to have some and just be off like in the stars. And then what actually happened was it was an absolute nightmare. So what it was I was still in the very early stages of, I hadn't done my shadow work. It's like when you first wake up and you're like really love and light, but you don't ever face the darkness even within yourself. So I had a lot of stuff I needed to heal within myself. So I'd done some DMT thinking I was going to go and hang out with the angels, and instead I actually saw a reflection of what my internal world was like, which was chaos, because my mind was chaotic, because I hadn't ever meditated and I hadn't practiced getting control of my mind. Here's the thing, a lot of us, hey everyone, a lot of us are really powerful and have really powerful psychic gifts. One of mine is being really open to being able to pick up so much around me. But what it is because I pick up so much, it's like random noise everywhere. And if I don't learn to control it and be able to understand where it's all coming from and tune in and out specifically to what is and isn't worth tuning into, then it can get really chaotic. And that's what I was like. So then when I'd done this DMT, I was in this chaotic whirlwind of my mind, and I ended up crying afterwards. I was like sobbing on the sofa, and it was worse because like when I was doing it, the person I was with was like they must have thought what's going on, because I was like panicked a bit. So they were going, I cast all demons out of you, like demons, leave her alone. So then I'm tripping like there's demons around me. Yeah, I would just say anything that's like a hardcore substance, just like put some incense on, do meditation first, like be with the right people, really have it as a respectful ritual, and like plan beforehand, eat properly, like sort your energy, just be really ready for those types of things. Sorry to just go on about it. Ingrid, I'm having a God ray, I hope you are too. Blue Sky Project, I appreciate that. And I agree with you, because I wasn't really the real deal for a while. Like for years, I was on the path trying to find myself, trying to heal, and I was trying to be a successful singer and songwriter as well. And I know that the version of me then, I didn't really know myself. I wasn't true to myself because I didn't know who I was. And so like I was always trying to be what I thought people wanted me to be. And so if I was online trying to pretend to share spirituality when I hadn't done the shadow work, I hadn't found myself, like I wasn't really actually living that life, I know that there would have been a falsity to me. So like I kind of have been behind the scenes or just been quiet for years, actually like doing the work first, and then I'm obviously here now sharing it with you. But I would hate to be illegitimate and be here pretending to be someone and sharing the information if I wasn't actually, like, hadn't actually gone through this and like was living it as a lifestyle and stuff. Ingrid, thank you for the hair compliment. Hatta, hey. The unicorn was left. Blue Sky Project. The unicorn was left off the ark. Ah. Beautiful fairy Alice, hey. Yeah, Jimmy, so I assume you've done ayahuasca then, and that's the thing. What I really like that you said that is that I would like Mother Ayahuasca, because everyone says, and I can't compare because I've only done DMT, but everyone says DMT is like you sit on a rocket and you go, whereas ayahuasca is like you have your guide, which is Mother Ayahuasca, and it kind of like gently like guides you through, and you get to, there might be some big terrifying moments, but you have, it's more of a process rather than DMT is like I've gone for 5 minutes and back and I don't really can't really remember what happened. I don't know if you guys have ever had NOS. It's laughing gas, but we used to have it at uni, and you basically put it in a balloon and then you like breathe the gas out of the balloon. And I swear I've had experiences like DMT trips from doing that, and I think it's my own body releasing DMT when I would do a double balloon. So we would have you were only meant to have one balloon, but sometimes we would do doubles to get an extra hit. I wasn't planning on sharing all of this stuff. And thank you for the likes, guys. So we'd do doubles, but when you do double, you'd almost like pass out while she was doing it, and you would like have a trip. And I swear I was on DMT trips, and I think it was my own internal DMT being released, but it was like something would happen where it's like I suddenly have just been shown the whole meaning of everything. And actually it wasn't as epic and beautiful as I thought it would be. It was almost like, shit, now I realise what the truth of reality is. And then I thought I was going to die, because I thought that because now I know that I have to die because I've figured it out, I've ended, the game's finished kind of thing. And then you'd come back round and you're like, I don't really know how to explain what I've just seen. But yeah, just on like drugs and stuff, I personally, obviously you've got coffee is a drug, chocolate, sugar, alcohol, refined carbohydrates. There's so many drugs, and so almost everyone takes drugs in a way. But anything that would take me too far out of the present moment, right now in this time that we're in, I wouldn't do it, because the spiritual battle is absolutely now. The psychic attacks is absolutely like, be on your guard all the time. So if you're consciously dancing with the fairies or leaving your vessel unattended to because you're kind of out of it, or you're all in your head or whatever it is, you're not, you need to be protected. You need to be aware of what's going on, because there's physical threats at the minute, there's spiritual threats, there's mental threats, there's all sorts of reasons why you wouldn't send a soldier into war pissed out of his head and not really aware of what's going on. So we're actually the ones in this battle right now. So I, for the past like few years, haven't taken anything that would actually put me out of being consciously aware, because we need to be here. The partying days, or not the partying, because to part, the word party isn't the best word to use, because that's to part. So I like to say unity. It's like unity, but rather than unity, it's like unity. So it's unity, togethery. So when we get together, but when we get together with substances, that those days were in the past for now, until we've sorted this earth, and then after that, maybe in a few years, hopefully, if everything's really good and sweet, then we can enjoy substances again, in a spiritual way, because they have spiritual benefits. God gifted us a lot of these substances so we can understand the mind of God, and we can find God within ourselves and become gods ourselves, become Christic, become Christed, become a Christ. Jesus took magic mushrooms. The whole Christmas story was all about the Amanita muscaria, the fly agaric mushroom. I'm going to show you this actually, because there's this book, The Way of Emotion. This is the 18+ version, but here's Jesus Christ with his blooming mushrooms. And that around his head, that halo, that's the disc of the sun, to show he became a solar being, a solar deity, or a son, a Christ. The Buddha was one of the luminaries as well, because the planets, they're actually the gods and goddesses. They're alive and they're conscious. So the sun is Jesus, Mercury is the Buddha. I think like Moses was the moon. The different luminaries, they come down and incarnate in human form. So that to teach how to become enlightened. This book is all about enlightenment and how to overcome the ego, and to understand what the ego is, and how to become a Christ or a Buddha like Jesus and the Buddha. And one of the ways to do it is through the use of plant medicines. You can heal yourself massively through plant medicines, but since this book was written, there's other ways we've discovered how to become enlightened. You can do it through spells, through certain planetary alignments, so you don't have to rely on taking substances anymore. Derek, if you're still here, hey! What do I do to settle down? Do you mean just like in general, kind of like chilling my energy down, or were you talking about after like DMT and stuff? Because I've only ever done it once. And you know what's actually really interesting and quite funny is that you can use reverse speech as a way of being able to figure out what people's true souls are really like. So you must have heard where you can get certain songs and you can reverse them, and you can hear them saying certain things, and sometimes they'll be saying praise, sometimes they'll be saying like negative spells to their gods, like the people in Hollywood and stuff. Sometimes you'll hear your soul confessing things or just telling you like the truth. And you can even reverse speeches of politicians. I've seen reverse speeches of Obama versus Trump, and you can see what their true intentions are. And you can also see it through listening to the tones that they use, because each of the tones within the musical scale represents one of the chakras, and some people can use basically all of the chakras when they speak, and they're really expressive and they're putting the whole heart and soul into it, and then they probably mean it. Some people can really use just the root chakra, and then they're probably coming from more of a power play rather than using the heart chakra when they talk. So you can also see if people purposely like what their intentions are through the sounds that they make. And I had one song and I was like I'm going to reverse it and see what secrets I share in the song, one of my songs. And I was listening to the vocals, so I flipped it, and it was just after I'd done the DMT experience, and it was like saying like, the steps, I must walk these steps, even if it hurts, even if it's hard, I must walk these steps. And I'm thinking, God, I'm talking about like the shadow the shadow journey of like the dark night of the soul, because I was going through it at the time. And then at the end it was like, and I took DMT and I was like for God's sake, like just sharing all my secrets in this song. My soul's just telling everyone that. So I was going to share it online. I thought I'm not going to share that one. I just thought it just sounds like I'm really trying to be like, hey guys, I got a gold star because I did a DMT trip. So, hiya Ariel Ra. What a beautiful name that is. I'm just going to skim through your comments. Do you think it's wrong to manifest experiences with specific people? I don't think so. Because I've been kind of half and half with this, because half of me is like, you shouldn't cast spells on someone to fall in love with you or things like that. For me, I'm like, I don't want to do that, because if it's because of my spell, it was never really love in the first place. It wasn't, they don't really love me. I've had to put a spell on them to make someone love me, so I don't do stuff like that. You can do stuff like that. Everyone can be controlled and manipulated by spells, because it's simply just energy. So people have spells on them all the time, like whenever you're singing a song in your head, whenever someone says something to you, whenever people are just thinking about you or talking about you behind your back, they're casting these spells on you. This is why it's important to learn how to become a mage, a magician, someone who's aware of energy, to get rid of the black magic spells and the negative spells on you, so that you live your life through your own wishes, rather than what other people want you to be. Even your programming, even your belief systems, even what you want to grow up to be, is probably spells that your parents put on you. Your parents probably want you to be a lawyer, and so now you're acting out their spell and you think it's your own desires, and actually it's just their energy that's trying to make you live out that spell, because everyone has their own wishes and wills and wants in this world, and so like everyone's always trying to make it go their way. So it's like a battle or a fight. Thank you, Nico, for the rose. I usually say whoever's in charge is in charge. That means whoever's in charge is electrically in charge, charged up, powerful, filled with light, because light is electricity, it's power and charge. Whoever's most filled with light has got a stronger energy, and so they usually can overpower in terms of who, say if it's a spell off, my spells versus yours on my life. If you've got more light, you have more awareness, more insight to sense the spells, to get rid of them, to delete them, and also to spell them back and overpower them with your light. So to manifest experiences with other people, I have personally visualized and wished and willed for like certain people to be there in my life, or to have like them as a friend and stuff. So I have kind of like, to a degree, but only like in the sense of I really hope so, and not so much like literally doing spells and trying to manipulate them into what I want, because I kind of have an element of I really hope so, but I'll just allow things to unfold. There's only a small issue with allowing things to unfold, and that is being so go with the flow in life that you just get walked all over and you get trampled all over. Because this is another thing, is you can so easily just lie back and be like, right then life, you just do what you want to me. But then what happens is people just plug into you. They start using you for their own wishes and wills, and you're there thinking you're just allowing the life to happen through you, but actually you're not stepping into your creative power and being like, actually no, I am authority in this world and in this life because I know who I am the light, I'm here to serve God, I'm here to bring the light. So as a light worker, as a light being, you don't really want to be just allowing and just not doing anything and not being anything and not trying and not using your light for the light. Blue Sky Project will see such wonderful things. The future is so bright. Oh, Rhiannon did Cambo. It was beautiful and helpful. That's interesting. I've had friends that have done it. I've not done that either. If that is the one that you have to use, it's like the poison off the frog's back. I personally couldn't and wouldn't do it because of like me being a vegan. And I saw like the 5-MeO DMT or something. I saw this horrible frog farm. It was like thousands of frogs in this pond, and like that is not a holy sacred thing to be going, like, even if the drug takes you somewhere and it was like worth it to have to like farm and whatever they do, scare these frogs and then get the poison off their backs and stuff. That's like, for me, I'm like, just do some breath work. Just do something else as a way of getting that, because anything that comes from fear, if that poison has come from the frog because of fear, that to me doesn't sound like it's going to have good energy to do. But people, I have friends who've said that they really enjoy the Cambo, and even people who've done 5-DMT and they've gone and met God and stuff. So I can't really talk because I've not done it, but I personally wouldn't, just for those reasons. So someone asked, what do I think about people cutting down trees in ring forts? Cutting down trees, I just don't think people should be cutting down trees in general, like wherever they are. I think let's just leave the trees alone, and enough trees fall and enough branches fall for us to collect the wood from the floor and to be able to like kind of heat our homes in the winter using just dead wood. We don't really need to be cutting down trees. So I personally I don't agree with cutting down trees at all. Obviously I eat plants, so there's an element to it where, like, to a degree, I just kind of do what I have to do to live. But what I do think is the best and the most karma-free way of living, especially if you have to eat food, is fruitarian, because you don't have to kill the tree. The trees produce the fruit for us. We get the fruit, the tree goes, thanks for taking my fruit, spread my seeds far and wide, and you're like, yeah, will do. Munch this delicious fruit, spread the seeds far and wide. The tree's like, hey, see you next year for when I bring some more delicious fruit. And so it's like a symbiotic relationship, and I believe that we used to live with the earth abundantly, paradise, fruit trees everywhere, all were vegan, animals were vegan, humans were vegan, we all just ate fruit. And that is the ideal, really. So that's what I'm thinking will come in the future, but probably more even breatharian, like not even needing to eat, because we're going to be shifting into a more less dense and more energetic reality. So divinely protected, I'm so glad that you're aware of your words. I really appreciate that feedback. I'm going to just I don't want to be too far behind in the comments, but Christ consciousness. Oh, someone said about drinking wine, but what's interesting as well, you know, is saying about Jesus Christ and the magic mushes. Well, what they used to actually make wine out of in the past was probably actually properly fermented grapes without putting like toxins in and stuff, because alcohol today is different from what they used to have. But at Christmas, they used to get the Amanita muscaria mushrooms, the red and white ones, the ones that you see on wrapping paper and stuff. you might wonder, why are they even Christmas related? Like, since when are these red mushrooms with the white dots anything to do with Jesus and like the Christmas story? Well, those red mushrooms, they used to basically soak them in water for 3.5 days, 3.5 rays, and then it would produce a red wine, and then they would drink that wine, and basically the substance would basically, it would align their chakras, it would ascend the kundalini up to the top, so they became enlightened. They basically incarnated Christ within, because those mushrooms contain Christ seeds, which is basically just chi, life force energy, but Christic life force energy. There's different plant-based substances that contain chi, and also loads of things on the earth that contains Christ energy. So they would have these mushrooms that would ascend the kundalini up to the top, so long as they'd lived properly, which means this is the whole Santa Claus, and if you've been good you get your presents, and if you've been bad you get coal. What it is Christmas was a opportunity for mass enlightenment. We're all meant to be enlightened, and enlightened is our natural state. It's the Garden of Eden, heaven-like state, the Christ state. So what Jesus Christ became, what the Buddha became, they became enlightened masters. And so we all have opportunities in every life to become enlightened if we want to, and that means to go back to our natural state, which is having basically having so much light, having Christ consciousness in this body. But the way that we live in today's society, barely anyone is actually a Christ, because you have to be vegan for a start, you have to be alkaline, you have to build your chi, so stop orgasming. And sorry, but sex is promoted everywhere. Like, since I started turning like puberty, I used to watch porn like pretty much every ray, and I would even like orgasm every ray, and that is literally wasting all your chi, wasting your life force energy. I would eat meat, I would eat junk food, I was like basically ruining my body so that it wasn't able to hold the light and the chi. And so if you did take the substance, you wouldn't become enlightened, because your body's out of balance. So you need to live a certain way to have your body ready, so that when you take a substance like the mushrooms that drink that wine, you can basically, your body's so pure that the energy ascends up and you do become a Christ. It's like anyone can meet God, but if you want to become a God, you have to live like a God. There's a lot of like religious teachings like keep your temple clean. They're talking about your temple is your body, these are your temples here, and this is the seat of God, and you can incarnate your highest light and become a God on this plane, so long as you live what I call the life of light. So people drink the wine and then they'll do that, and Merry Christmas. Mary is Mary, Christ is Christ. So it's like the masculine and the feminine en masse. So it's people basically becoming unified, becoming holy, where your soul, you balance the masculine and your feminine aspects of your soul, you become whole and holy. And that's what would happen, is people would do this as like a big ceremony. And most of the celebrations, like Valentine's Day, like Halloween and stuff, most of these celebrations actually were all originated in enlightenment and how to become enlightened. And people would use these celestial alignments and these times of the year when these magic mushrooms would grow, and people would do these ceremonies and become enlightened. But I think you have to have hit the age of 13 for that sexual life force energy to start being able to actually like mature within yourself to become enlightened. So the reasons why enlightenment is important is because when you become a God in this plane, you have like control over like the heavens and the gods. You can basically use them at your command to assist you with the light. God gives you that power because you've proven that you're here to serve God and to do God's work. So you get given like those types of powers. You don't die, you don't age, you live forever. It's eternal life, eternal youth. You just, when you want to die, you just choose when you want to go and you go. No one can kill you. You can't die from the hands of man because you're essentially a God on this plane. Your emotions turn off. You don't have an ego anymore. You don't have an emotion, and you live from your highest self, from your higher mind, rather than from the animalistic like state. So it turns off your sex drive. There's loads of reasons why enlightenment is so worth wanting to achieve and worth achieving, and also that's actually meant to be our natural state. So that's actually meant to be not the goal. Also, once you do become enlightened, you don't get stuck in the cycle of reincarnation. You just go straight back home after this place. So you can't, there's no way of getting stuck because your soul's already got the light within. You just go straight home. So there's enlightenment isn't the goal and then the game's finished. Enlightenment that's the first step. And once you become enlightened, then you have to learn how to live as an enlightened master, and you have to then learn how to master being a master, and how to then become a mage, and how to start mastering this game and stuff. So the journey is always ongoing, like we all know, or like we all yes. Les, hey. Hi from Bristol, Lillian. Hey. So, Jimmy, The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. I haven't read the book, but I'm aware that book is literally like the same stuff I've been talking about Jesus Christ being a magic mushroom, I'm sure. Jesus Christ actually was a real person. He was basically the soul of the sun. Comes down throughout probably every 2,000 years. He comes down with all of the planets, all of the luminaries, all the gods and goddesses, all the angels. They all come down. All like the highest beings are like, they all like, right, we're going to Earth again. We're gonna go to Earth. We're going to incarnate as humans. And we're going to help humanity awaken to remember that God's real, and to remember where they come from, and to remember how to ascend themselves out of this place. Jesus didn't save everyone. He didn't even die on the cross. He came down to teach everyone how to save themselves, because he can only teach you how to be an enlightened master. But if you want to continue to sin and not live the life of light, you ain't going to become an enlightened master, and then you aren't going to become a god and ascend to become a god like the luminaries, the planets and stuff. You don't have to ascend. There's no rule saying that you have to ascend in your soul's evolution. You can do what you want, really. I think it's inbuilt within most of us, though, that we all want to always be our highest and best self, and we're always trying to strive to be more and do more in more of a lightful way. We always want to heal and be more lightful. So I do think that's built within us, but it's not to say that you have to do it in this lifetime, or that has to be your goal, because some people are they're doing different things. They've got different missions at the minute. But Jesus, he came down, the sun came down, they all came down. Jesus was, the sun was Jesus. Some of the other planets were other people, and basically they taught enlightenment, and they're all back again. This is us, guys, because you must have heard, like, when people say, you heard the call and the light warriors came, and like, we came here to help humanity, and there's a big shift, we're going into a new age. It's every time we change ages that the gods and goddesses, the higher beings of light, come down to help people on earth again. And this is exactly what's happening right now, and this is why we're chatting about all this stuff, because we are the ones here to break those generational curses that our families have been dealing with for years, and we're here to be the ones to put in the work, to stop eating the shit, to stop like drinking ourselves so silly that we don't have to feel our emotions. Like, it's really easy to just give up in life and to not care, not try to be our best selves. It's very easy to take that path. That's why people say the path to heaven's like, not really to heaven. I'm not saying that for myself, but there's a saying that's something like the path is straight and narrow or something. And it's like, you have to put in effort. You You have to put in effort to go against the grain when it's so easy in society to just sit and watch TV all night and order a McDonald's in. That's what we're brainwashed and ingrained to do. That's what our bodies used to want to do, because our bodies have only really ever eaten junk food, and so that's what we crave. That's I'm not saying it's anyone's fault that that's that way. I'm saying that's just the reality of what we've been living in. But we need to change this, and we're the ones that have to put in the work to be the change. And then like eventually it'll change, where we can get raw vegan takeaways and eat raw vegan chips and burgers, and it's like, wow, this tastes so good and it makes me feel so good. And you're like, this is life. This is how to really live life. And once you live the life of light, it feels so good. And you're like, wow, I can't believe I even survived the way that I used to live. So, Rhiannon thanked the frog for his medicine. That's really sweet. I'm glad you did that. Hatta, final count, beginning of lockdown. It's been a pleasure to see you, Grandma. Thank you, Hatta. You've been with me for a while then. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. Rhiannon, yeah, so those red mushrooms, people used to say that you would have to have reindeer eat them so that basically their stomachs were meant to take away some kind of a toxin on them, so that supposedly the Siberian shamans used to drink the reindeer wee, and then they would have the muscanol, I think the muscanol might be the poisonous part of it, but they would then drink the wine, the red wine that's had the poison taken out of it. But actually, from my experience, you don't need to drink reindeer piss to do it. You can just I think what you do is you just basically get the mushrooms. Pretty sure you just like wash them thoroughly, because you can get little white worms underneath the gills and stuff, so you really need to wash them thoroughly. And then I think that you dehydrate them, and then you take like 3.5, and you put them in water and you just soak them for 3.5 days, and the water turns into wine, and then you just drink that. But I would start small and then eventually build your way up to drinking more and more. When I've tried it, it didn't enlighten me. Because I wasn't clean enough, and I wasn't filled with enough light at the time to have done it. So some people take that and they actually experience God, and God comes to them and they speak to God for 3.5 days. I didn't get that. I just got like, I was really drunk, everything was swaying around. It didn't do for me what other people say it does. So I tried different ways of enlightenment instead, which was successful, not that reindeer mushroom way. But I have had people who have been they've talked about becoming enlightened from those. So I've not experienced it personally, but I have had people say that they have. Lovely human in my phone. I've really enjoyed your videos, thank you. Danny888, hey, Jayhawk, thank you. Love the language use. What do I think about the Chaos series on Netflix? I haven't seen it. I haven't really watched much series or anything. I just really enjoy like watching YouTube mostly, or like TikTok and stuff, just kind of like short informational stuff about what's going on, or about the nature of reality, or what the astrology is saying. So I haven't watched. In fact, is it like where the stars are flashing or something, and like they're getting a message from intergalactic aliens or whatever, and it's like the stars are flashing and someone's able to turn all like the heavens off and everyone freaks out, and it's like an apocalyptic style thing with aliens trying to kill them and stuff. When did I become a Christian? I not mainstream Christianity, but a Christ I am, or a Christ I am, yeah. Became a Christ I am really when like I first started my awakening. Probably it was only like 2018 or something. Thank you for the heart. I ended up basically starting my awakening, found out that Jesus was one of my main guides. I grew up really anti-Christian, actually. I had an issue with God for ages, and like, so Jesus was trying to introduce me to God, and I was like, I don't know, like, it's like I just had negative feelings about him and Jesus because of all the stuff Christianity had told me about them, and all the crap, all of these silly stories that was like, I just didn't believe any of them. And I felt as well like Jesus was a bit uncool and stuff because of just the way I perceived Christianity. So half my own fault because of demons trying to put me off having connections with God, but also half like the way that the Bible is, and the way it just, some of it's just like, yeah, don't think so. I just don't, there's something in me that's just like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, I used to know Jesus in past life when Jesus was here and stuff, and so now I know, like, it's because my soul just knew that that wasn't really the real truth of what really happened and what like Jesus was like and stuff. So I forcibly became a Christ I am, because I never would have chosen Jesus and God to be my guides. Now I understand my soul obviously chose them because they're like my best mates and stuff. But I would have probably preferred to have gone down a Buddhist route because I found it a bit more open spiritually to begin with than like religious and stuff. I wouldn't ever say I've been a mainstream Christian, but when I became an actual Christ, as in achieved enlightenment, was, when was that, like 2 years ago or something? So there's a lot of people use the term like Gnostic Christianity, and I would say probably more I'm like that, like a Gnostic Christ I am. And if you look at the teachings of the Essenes, I think that that's quite similar to the type of stuff that I follow. Also Hare Krishnas, because they're like, I met some Hare Krishnas in the street. They were teaching about the religion, and my sister was asking like what they're doing. They were saying, oh, we don't eat meat, and we abstain from orgasm, abstain from sex. And I was like, so you do all the stuff I do then? So I already like live the path of a lot of religions teach, although I wouldn't really like say that I am religious. Sweetie Sue, I'm glad you enjoy my content. Psychic civilized. Psyche, delic, is a answer. Hey. Sorry. I was struggling to read that one. Yeah, Rhiannon, that's awesome. This is the thing, is like, the best way to be is to get your own relationship with God, to get your own clear like channel and ability to speak to God, and don't rely on taking anything or like don't rely on anything external. We all have it within us, and the best thing is to actually open that channel so that we can always have our own connection and our own guidance from God. Chaos, Greek gods. I don't know, I might need to like have a look at what that is. GB has a lot of good shows about chakras, aliens, and ancient history. That sounds cool. Tubi. Jade, yeah, the power of the cross. This is why I wear like cross earrings and stuff. And then sometimes, not really sometimes, I had like once or twice like people who would call themselves witches. What's quite funny is like, some Christians are like really against witches, and some witches are really against Christians. And I know people go, yeah, that's because Christians persecuted witches. No, because Christians the real Christians used to actually do magic and stuff. Everyone did magic, so it's not like people were against witches and it was Christians persecuting witches. But actually what it is the devil, the evil, the night they infiltrated all walks of life. So you might get people persecuting each other, but that's not because it's a Christian versus a witch. That's because it's the devil versus good people. And so in all walks of life, you always get people who've been persecuted throughout all space and time. And it's not the persecutor, you could go, oh, they're evil because they're white and they're persecuting people. They're evil because they're Christian. They're evil because they're Muslim, whatever it is. Well, actually, no, it's nothing to do with who they identify with. They are a demon, and they're using the guise of being a Christian or being a Muslim or being a white person, or they're using this disguise as a way of being able to play out their evil agenda. And then people look at that person and go, oh, it's because of something exterior, something superficial, rather than seeing it's because they're a demon. It's the lack of light within them. It's nothing to do with what they look like or what they identify as and stuff like that. So yeah, but someone was like some witch, I don't like the word witch, but she was calling herself a witch. She was like, can't believe you would even like talk about magic and wear those like ghastly earrings, like, because they're just really against the cross. It's like the cross existed before Christianity did. But there's nothing wrong with the cross in Christianity as well. But like I was saying, Jesus didn't die on the cross. The cross is a representation of the zodiac, the celestial cross, and basically the four seasons, the four directions. It's the balance of the masculine and the feminine. It's a powerful protection symbol. So yeah, so that is that. Rhiannon hung out with the Krishnas for 4 years. That's awesome. Misha, hey. Malcolm X, just speak truth, not false names or religion. It's clear. It's fairly easy, to be honest, to show love in this way. Yeah. I think that all paths, all religions, all paths, mostly all paths, have got truth and light in them, and people kind of like, they all lead back to becoming good and becoming your high and best self mostly. But some of them as well have been infiltrated, and there's like negatives in them. So not one path is the only and one way. I think that the way is found through taking what kind of corresponds in all of the paths and going, hey, most people do this and it must be for a reason, and if I do it, it makes me feel good, and wow, I've just spoke to God, so I know that this is one of the ways that helps me get closer to God. So you have to be your own scientist and you have to basically base everything off your own experiences. So you need to experience it, and then you can know for sure if something does work, if something is real, if something is legit, and which path is the way, rather than like just believing in something because that's what you've been brought up to believe, or that's what a book says, but then there's some stuff that you're not sure about, or there's like a lot of fear about if you don't do this then you're gonna whatever. It's just like, just use your own intuition and like figure it out. But you have to experience things to know, and then you can know. Even the 3 magicians know Jesus was the saviour. They weren't Christians, they read it in the stars. Yeah, so this is another thing, is like Christianity demonizes astrology, and it's like those 3 mages used the stars to find where Jesus was. Like Jesus used astrology to come in under the birth chart that he came in under, so that he could fulfill that life as a spell. Everyone comes in as a spell. Our whole lives are a spell from our higher self. Our higher self goes, like when God created the world, he created it through his word. He spoke, let there be light, let there be this, let there be that. He created it with his words, because our words are so powerful. We are creators, and so he spoke us into existence. And so our higher self spoke us as spells into this game, to come in at a certain time to fulfill certain wishes that our higher self had for a higher plan of either serving the light or serving the night, but mostly it's serving the light. It's not really going to be a higher self putting you in as a spell to serve the night. That would have been a trick from a demon putting that spell on you to fulfill out their wishes. something I heard about right now is how it's the season of crone, like the wise old women, season of witch, etc. But basically wise womanhood. Yeah, 1000% the women have got the magic. So my spiritual teacher always tells me, like, masculine energy, it's strong and it's powerful, it's protective, it's like basically the protector, but it's very focused. Yeah, so that masculine is like the number one. It's like the this powerful force, but the feminine expands. And so if you've got a divine masculine who really loves you, like he gives you his light because he sees the potential in you and he wants you to be your best self, he is gifting you his energy, which is his light. He's gifting you his light because he is projecting how he can see you into you. And because you then, as a feminine energy, because you've then received this powerful, strong masculine light, your energy naturally amplifies. So you can take his masculine light, but you can amplify it by the power of like 9 or even 11. So the feminine energy is actually stronger so long as she's got the light of a good man. But it doesn't have to be a partner. It could be like your father figure who just really sees you and he gives you his light because he really believes in you. So if you have a masculine energy, it's much more stronger than just your own energy on its own. But it's the women that can amplify it. So that means that our spells, our magic is actually 9 times more powerful than what a masculine's is. So he's very much more protective on the physical. He could very much protect us more on the physical, but we could protect us more on the spiritual. So where the women have been targeted spiritually to forget our worth, to think of ourselves as like, don't want to bother trying to do magic or anything because of what's happened in the past with us being kind of like, if we really were burnt at the stake, like that's what we experienced for being in our spiritual energy and stuff. And some of us might have past life memories of this kind of stuff from the holding on to this horrible like energy and these memories that we need to do past life regressions to heal. Might even do like a live one day and talk us through literally let's just do a past life regression, because I learned this technique and it's so powerful. I do it all the time, anytime I need to, and I always feel like I've shifted and healed things each time. So as the women are now remembering our power again, this is what's going to be the absolute turning point for the world. Because if you think about how people say, like, if there's a child in danger, it's always like 9 times out of 10, if there's a man and a woman there, it's mostly always the woman, the mum, the super mum, who's there like ready to fight till the end, because women have this this instinct and like this superpower almost. So once we have like our magic back, the divine mother's like finally like working through all of us. The mother's not going to allow for any shit, because it's sometimes as well, like if you had a mum and dad when you were growing up, sometimes it'd be like you go and ask your dad for things because you know your mum's always going to say, your mum's more strict because she's more kind of like more caring, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that is what's happening, is the women's taking the power. So as a woman, don't ever forget your power. And if you're a man, don't underestimate the power of just gifting your light into your woman, like really just building her up into all that she is and all that she can be, because she will help amplify all your stuff. So sometimes you'll even see it where like a man has the idea like of a business or something, and then the woman will help really cultivate it. And it's like, this is why the divine partnership of the two energies just works so well. So it's why God has created the split of energy between these two roles so that they can work together. And that's another reason why they're attacking the family nucleus thing at the minute. They're trying to attack gender and the actual physical energies that no one can, there's nothing we can do about it, guys. There's feminine energy, there's masculine energy. This is just what God's done. This is what God's made, so we can't change it, like even if we wanted to pretend that we could, or pretend that it doesn't exist or whatever. So it's better to just accept reality and get on with it. But that's why the two energies work beautiful together. Jade, I like that because I'm almost 14, feeling it more than ever at this point in time. Defo. Enjoying the wisdom. Yes. Oh yeah, frankincense, gold. Yeah, gold was conductive. So gold carries the light of the sun, which is interesting. Jesus was, his higher self was the sun. So Jesus came down. If you hold gold, it charges you with the light of the sun, which is really probably one of the most powerful luminaries. So that's why gold has been so valued over the years. It's literally because that the current, or the currency of gold, the current within gold, has such a high charge. When we used to exchange currency like money, coins, they were made out of precious metals because the metal actually held a conductive charge, and it would charge you and fill you with the light of one of the gods or one of the luminaries, so you could work directly with that god and channel that energy through you when you would hold that metal. So gold coins, silver coins, copper coins, tin coins. So we used to have this currency, and it used to be called currency because it had a current, which was the electrical charge that each of these coins had because of the metal. Frankincense and myrrh to summon angels and rituals, yeah. And I really love this, the smell of frankincense and myrrh. It's a really beautiful combination. Les, yes please. Okay, cool. So I will definitely I'll definitely look. Sorry, I think I might have just accidentally invited someone onto the live. I didn't mean to do it, so if you get an invite and you freak out, just ignore it, sorry. So yeah, we can definitely do a past life meditation thing. I'm actually doing it, I've got something starting on the 1st of October, so only in a few rays. I'm calling it the 21 ray. Hang on a sec. It said, a little notification popped up saying the live is going to end in 5 minutes because they've detected no activity from me. It's just like strange. So yeah, on the 1st of October, I'm calling it the 21 ray challenge, but it's really like a 21 ray healing and discovery quest. And so it's basically going to be 4 live webinar calls with like teaching things and kind of like checking in with each other and things like that. It's going to be like a little group that I'm calling the Light Wise Tribe. And then every single ray for 21 rays, I'm going to be sending out a video message with like a powerful practice or a powerful challenge. And basically it's 21 rays to just really shift your life and to live the life you want to live. So like so many of us are kind of stuck spiritually, or we just don't feel that good in life, or there's something we want, like say being good at manifestations, but we just can't get it right. And there's so many reasons why. This is why the healing journey has so many tools to use, because there's all sorts of reasons why you can have blocks. It could be beliefs from this life, from past lives, from parallel timelines. There can be so many things that's stopping and blocking you. So I've got 21 different techniques that allows you to heal, unlock things, unblock things, fill you with light, and manifest things. And every time I do it myself, I get just like happy surprises, things that I just wasn't expecting happen, that it's like, thank you God. And so it's like 21 rays, and the reason why it's 21 rays is because if you do something consistently for 21 rays, then it actually offers like powerful changes. It's not just like you do it a few days and then you give up and then you wonder why you don't see any change in your life. So every day, every ray, you get a video message from me with a powerful challenge in, and then there's 4 times where we meet up and we're like, so how was this September? How did it all go? I wanted to share this with you, and like it's the whole experience really. And I've got like a website up online. You have to buy your ticket for it, and there's also an option if you wanted like a healing an ethereal, not ethereal, but just an energetic remote healing as well. I send, I can send you some healing to support your journey. So there's the option for that as well, but it's all on my website if you wanted to have a look. But the reason I was saying it is because one of the rays is the past life regression meditation that I said I would share on a live. So you can obviously join us on the 1st. It's only in a few days' time, if you wanted to. And so, let me just read these comments. Can you raise your oil on Will? Just curious. Yeah, there's a spell to ascend your Kundalini, which would basically make you enlightened instantly if, in fact, it takes 2.5 days. So you have to say the spell, and then after 2.5 rays of your oil being up in the top, it basically illuminates you, you become enlightened. But like I said, you have to have lived the life of light. So you can say the spell, and after 2.5 days you aren't enlightened and it didn't work. So you can, there's many ways to ascend your oil, which is actually your Kundalini as well, because the oil, what happens is the oil within, the lubricant, basically, when people say when the moon's in your star sign and you get your chi, you get your Christ energy, your life force energy, what that is, it's you get light from that portal. It comes into you internally. The light within transmutes the oil into light, and it ascends up as your Kundalini, as physical light, and it illuminates you internally. Enlightenment means enlight in the mind. So there's different ways of filling yourself with light. You don't have to wait for your chi to be the moon to be in your star sign. You can fill yourself with light through going to megaliths, or through grounding, or certain spells, or taking certain substances and stuff. So you no longer have to wait for the moon and in your star sign, and that's the only way you get your chi, and you have to abstain from orgasm. You can actually shortcut the process. That's what I did on my enlightenment awakening, because my spiritual teacher, it took him 7 years of practicing to become enlightened, and then God showed him a shortcut way, which he then taught me. And it actually took me longer than expected. But one of his other students, she became enlightened in like 6 months. I became enlightened in 3 years. It took me 3 years to actually get there, because I was doing a lot of like needing to heal myself, and I was just being too acidic, even with my thoughts. I'm pretty sure that a negative thought can even like make your body go quite acidic. So I was like fighting a lot of demons. What I would really advise is, if you ever want to try becoming enlightened, don't tell anyone. Don't tell a single person until you've actually done it. Because I was telling people, I was like, guys, you can become enlightened. You have to do this, you have to do that. I'm doing it now. And I was sharing it because I was so excited at the time that you can become enlightened, that anyone could, because I just thought it was like a Buddha thing, that you have to have been meditating for 100 years to become enlightened. So like, I didn't know that anyone could. So when I found out you could, my spiritual teacher was like, just try it. You can become enlightened in about 4 months if you want to. That's like probably the shortest he's ever had anyone become enlightened. You have to obviously just really put your all into it. So I was like, amazing. He was like, just try it for 4 months, become enlightened, and then see what you think, and then just go back to your old life or your old ways if it wasn't what you thought, or if it's not what you want. So I was like, right, and I really wanted to become enlightened. So I was telling everyone, you can become enlightened, this and that, and I wanted to share it. I just thought that everyone would want enlightenment once they heard about it, but a lot of them weren't bothered, and actually a lot of them was like having negative thoughts about me about it, and they were putting their negative energies and demons on me. So I was actually fighting a lot more than just trying to become enlightened, because I had everyone's negative spells trying to put me off the path and take me down, because it's not even just them consciously, but if they've got demons or negative entities that can work through them, which a lot of people do when you live a life that's out of balance, I used to be exactly the same, then demons can utilize their energy to project the demons or the devil's negative agenda, which is always going to be just basically trying to take out the light workers and trying to take out those who are trying to become enlightened and trying to be the highest and best best self. That's just what the darkness has been doing, which is why we're the ones that get attacked, and the ones that aren't trying don't, because that's literally just the reason why, is because we're more of a threat to those who used to be in power, basically. So the 1st of October is the feast day of a saint I just learnt about. Her name is Therese. That's interesting. I'll definitely check that out. The 1st of October, oh, amazing. So that's actually in a few days. That's when my thing's starting. One of the things that I would say as well is, if ever you see something about a feast day and it's a saint, most likely it was a fast day, and they've perverted it, because they pervert a lot of these holy days like Christmas. Now it's suddenly turned into, let's eat loads of meat, and let's eat loads of shit, and let's eat loads of chocolate, and let's eat loads of milk so that we ruin our Christ seed. Think about this. I'm telling you guys about the life of light. You want to become an enlightened master, you have to be vegan. Like, absolutely, that's the one thing. You can't even get contaminated with milk or dairy products. You immediately set your chemistry out of balance, and your Christ energy goes, your Christ oil goes, your Christ consciousness goes. The highest being, like a Christ, he can't be in an animal vessel, and if you've got animal blood or milk inside you, your energy just instantly descends to a point where that light can't stay anymore, so you lose your enlightenment. But you can obviously get it again. It only takes 12 days after you've done a cleanse to get the product out your system where you can shift your energy high enough to hold the light in again. So you can lose your enlightenment. You don't become an enlightened master and stay forever. You have to continue living that way, like the saintly way or the Christic way. Christ always talked about following his path. Like, you have to like follow him and walk his walk. It's about becoming like him, or even better than him, not just like sinning, and it's okay to carry on that way because Jesus died for our sins. So it's like, no, Jesus being one of my main guides, he can't believe that people kill and eat dead baby animals on Easter and stuff in his name. Like, he's like, there's absolutely no way. Like, there's nothing godly or holy about that at all. And obviously, just on like, forget the morals of it, on a physical spiritual level, if you have animal within your system, you descend consciously, you can't have the Christ within, you can't have the light of God within. So that's why, like, you need to stay vegan and clean and eat well and alkaline. And so what's Christmas suddenly turned into? Let's make sure everyone's eating chocolate with milk in every single ray of December, so there's no chance that they've got 12 rays of cleaning themselves out, so that by Christmas comes, when the winter solstice comes and the alignment comes and the celestial energy comes, where everyone can become a Christ on this ray if you've been clean enough. Now no one can, because they've definitely eaten chocolate every single day, because we've got our advent calendars, and they're definitely going to be eating all of this shit Christmas junk food, because everyone has to eat a chicken or a turkey on Christmas, because that's just the way it is. They're definitely going to be drinking alcohol, and Santa, who's an anagram of Satan, is going to be bringing everyone presents, because now it's all about how much money can we make from Christmas. I'm getting like really psychically attacked from this. Someone doesn't like hearing, but if you really, really don't like hearing, if it's just because like you don't want to know but your soul's here because you're needing to know, then it's fine. But if you're really just like being negative and sending me bad energy, you can just go to a different live. So don't you think it's just crazy how Christmas has been perverted in that way, when it used to be about how to actually literally become a Christ like Jesus, and now it's become everything in your way to stop you from becoming enlightened? And so the reason why I was talking about a feast day versus a fast day is the word feast and fast very similar, but one is very gluttonous, and sometimes it's like Thanksgiving and stuff where it's like, let's eat loads of crap food and meat and stuff. That instantly ruins your enlightenment. So saints were more likely to have fast days where they would actually fast, because if you fast long enough for at least 24 to 72 hours, you get into ketosis. Ketosis is a state your body gets into naturally after fasting, and it aligns your chakras. So then when you take the substance to ascend your kundalini, because your chakras are all aligned, you literally just become enlightened so easily. And also ketosis, it resets your chemistry of your brain and your gut flora. So if you had any addictions to the meat and to the sugar and stuff like that, if you get into ketosis first, it corrects your addictions. So it's a lot easier then to give all that up when you're ready to try becoming a Christ and become an enlightened master. Lauren, love hearts, Tiff, hey. So hi. Your Japa, if you feel grateful all the time and love, how will I know when I feel enlightened? So, no, enlightenment isn't really to do with like being grateful or how long you meditate, although the different spiritual practices definitely help with self-mastery. Meditation helps keep your mind focused, which is important when you're trying to become enlightened, because if you let's say like you've got like a pet around you, like a dog, yeah, and this might be an extreme like situation, but let's say you weren't paying attention and you accidentally cut yourself and your dog licks the cut and suddenly the animal saliva has now gone into your bloodstream. You've then now contaminated yourself with animal again, even if it's just saliva, even if you didn't mean to and you didn't eat it, you because it's mixed within your vessel, that's just the body chemical reaction. Is it's now got something foreign in that's going to disrupt your chemistry, and it's also because it's from an animal, it's going to lower your vibration and your enlightenment might go if it's a lot. So meditation is important because you focus your mind, and then when you're cutting, you're very careful you won't do something like that would cause you to lose your enlightenment. The same with yoga, because you've got a lot of self-awareness and focus, so that then you move gently, you move gracefully, and you don't do something like trip up and like fall I don't know, like land in some dog poo or something, like who knows. But even dogs eat meat, so again, like there's ways you can get contaminated that isn't even like literally being like eating meat and stuff. So you have to be very careful. And now it's so interesting because now I'm aware that of this lifestyle. I see, like, you know how people imagine like when you see royalty, they all act a certain way. They're very kind of slow and graceful, and they're gentle with things, and that's probably nowadays because they're taught to be that way. But it's not because that's like that means that you're a royal and you're special. It's literally, I think the real royals in the past were the enlightened masters. That's how they got the power. That's how they became to royalty, because they just were, God's anointed them and said, hey guys, you guys are going to rule on the earth because I can trust you. I know that you're here to serve and to serve everyone's best good. So the royals of the past, the ones who used to rule, used to actually just be the good guys, and they would make the earth so blissful for everyone that no one would be uncounted for. And I believe that because they were enlightened, they were probably very mindful or mindless or mind focused. They were probably very gentle because they weren't like erratic or clumsy or doing shit that's like not masterful. You need to be able to master your vessel, master yourself, master your thoughts, only so that you can stay clean, so that you can not orgasm, because that's another one. You need to save your life force energy. So if you've not got mastery over your mind, and then you go, do you know what, I could just fancy watching some porn, and next minute you're ejaculating and you've lost your energy. You need to have self-mastery like that. And so you need the three key points to enlightenment are vegan, clean, so that means if you're eating fruit, if you're eating anything with your hands, wash your hands first, wash the fruit first, make sure it's clean, because people talk about like parasites and stuff if you don't wash food properly. So cleanliness is next to godliness, and that means you don't get contaminated accidentally. So vegan, clean, and then the last one is basically abstaining from orgasm or building your light, the two are kind of the same, because when you orgasm, you let go of your light. So you need to build your light through eating raw food, through grounding to the earth, through celestial alignments, it just happens anyway, through holding crystals, through taking substances, through drinking coffee in a certain way. There's loads of ways you can fill yourself with light and actually shortcut the process of filling yourself with enough light that your energy ascends high enough that when the final part to enlightenment, that's all of those are the part of how to live, to prime your body to become in that state that it could hold Christ consciousness once you incarnate the Christ within. So that's the lifestyle. And when I say vegan, plant-based, it is mostly whole foods. It's like an alkaline vegan diet. You probably could get away with junk food. It would just take you a lot longer because of the acidicness. It would just it takes you a lot longer to even get primed. There's ways of shortcutting it in the primeness of getting your body ready, and there's ways of prolonging it. So that's kind of down to what you want to do with your life and how quickly you want enlightenment. But once you're primed, if you feel like, yeah, actually, I am vegan, I am really clean, I don't let my dog lick me on the mouth, you don't know what kind of parasites or shit you could be getting from letting your pets kiss you on the mouth. They lick their arse and stuff. And I used to love my cat, and I used to actually let her lick my face and stuff. So I was really glad when I found out about enlightenment that my cat had been long gone before then, and I actually thanked God, because I was I used to love really cuddling with my cat, so I would have struggled to give that up for enlightenment. But actually your soul will be please, enlightenment's the way, just give up the cat licking your face just for enlightenment. It's well worth it, which it is. So if you're right, I'm doing all those things, I'm living the life of light, I'm ready to try enlightenment, then there's ways to trigger your kundalini going up to the top. And when it does, that's when because you're so filled with light, your kundalini goes all the way up to the top. It bursts through your crown chakra, and that is when you basically illuminate yourself in the Christ consciousness incarnates within, or at least your higher self, your highest self. You become that. You become a Christ. And like I said, the benefits are you can't die from the hands of man. People can't kill you. You don't die at all, other than when you choose to go, and you just go through a meditation instead. You just choose when you want to go, but God's not shown me how to do that yet, because I must need to be here. Otherwise it'd probably be just so easy to go, yeah, I'm done with this place, let's just go already. So you choose when you want to go. You're not meant to age. I think that you're meant to just stay young forever. This is the eternal youth thing. But I think that certain spells and the toxins that's still within our air and within our food and our water and stuff, I think that those things still have an effect on us right now. So even though enlightenment's meant to keep you young forever, if people are putting spells on you, as soon as you turn 30 you start looking old and stuff, if you're not getting rid of those spells, they can still come onto you and put that layer on you, even if you're an enlightened master. This is why once you're enlightened, that's just the baseline, because then you need to learn magic. So if you're ready, then the ways that you can ascend your kundalini to become enlightened are MDMA. You can take that. That's called it's called an entheogen. The word entheo means to bring God within, and so there's certain substances like that basically make your soul whole, and they ascend your kundalini, and you basically become enlightened so long as you're primed enough. So you can do it that way, and you have to take it in a certain way. It does actually say in this book how to do that, but it's the 18 plus version. Also, I personally wouldn't recommend taking any drugs like that in today's world right now. I spoke about it earlier in this call, but you can also do it through those red mushrooms. You can do it through a spell. I became enlightened through the spell. I tried the MDMA stuff for years. It made me enlightened temporarily, but after the high, so too my Christ light went, because it's what I was talking about, where I was fighting these demons. I wasn't staying clean enough. I was vegan, but for some reason I wasn't able to maintain my enlightenment and actually stay enlightened. when you become enlightened, if you've ever taken MDMA, you'll see what it's like. Enlightenment isn't as... MDMA is like, wow, I just love everyone and it's amazing. That's like feeling like God. Enlightenment's kind of halfway there naturally, so it's like you feel like God, and then you come back down, but then you just feel like really chilled, really still. Your soul's still, so your soul's not in the sine wave anymore, which means you're in sin. Your soul becomes still, and rather than being an electric wave like the sine wave, it becomes a magnetic constant like your soul or like God. So that's why you don't die on this plane, because you're no longer an electric wave. And as you'll know, electricity or electric waves, they eventually fade and die. That's what death is. But magnetism, a magnet never ever loses its magnetic energy. It's always there. It's a constant. So that's what your soul becomes when you become enlightened, which is why then you'll constantly just rejuvenate your bod, your body. Your cells will continue to just replenish themselves until you're done with this body. So there's the spell to do it. You can go to certain megaliths, like stone circles and stuff. You can connect and receive the energy, and you can basically get into ketosis, which aligns your chakras, and then holding the megalith, the energy will just ascend you up to the top. There's certain spiritual alignments that can basically ascend your kundalini. So if everyone was really living the life of light, people would be like popping up and becoming enlightened. And the way that you can tell that you are enlightened is because you'll have no more emotion, no more fear, no more anger, no more sadness, no more pain. You'll feel your chi, which is like feeling like a serpent of energy, like wiggling around in your sexual life force area. You'll just feel like you're coming from a different place. Like I feel much more like mature as a soul, like I am my higher self, than when before I was enlightened. The energies of others and the spells of others can't affect you as much anymore. You're less pulled and swayed by them. And of course, eventually you just like build your connection with God more. You'll like just start to live more as you normally would meant to live in this life. And you don't build karma from now on, because it basically cancels out any karmic debt. Because the reason why what karma is your like emotional attachments to things. This is what brings us back in the cycle of reincarnation, because we die but we're still emotionally attached to our family, or we still like feel bad about something we did. And this is why the Buddha, because he taught about enlightenment as well, he taught the same thing Jesus Christ did. The Buddha was the god Mercury. They all come down and teach us this same way. So Mercury, the Buddha, taught that attachment is the cause of all suffering, because our emotional attachments are what causes us to suffer. And so when you become enlightened, because it turns off your emotions or your ego, it turns off then your emotional attachments. So then you don't necessarily suffer like you would have done. And then when you pass on, you don't get pulled back in the cycle of reincarnation, which then eventually is kind of cancelled out any future karma that you might have put yourself through, because you were still karmically attached or connected to the things that pulled you through. Thank you for the badges and stuff. Aaron, hey. Exactly, never tell people about your future plans. That's literally it. In America it's hard to eat clean. I can imagine. A pot of pintos. Yeah, it sounds good. Just having a look. What makes you think only vegans can be enlightened? What's your evidence? So my spiritual, well, mostly a lot of religions, and the true ones before they got changed, they were all vegetarian, which at the time actually meant vegan. Jesus was a vegan. The whole like him eating fish, it's all been changed to put you off being enlightened. So the reason I know that veganism is the only way is because my spiritual teacher, when he was on his enlightenment journey, he was vegan, he became enlightened, and then because he's been so guided by God, he decided to try some milk to see where the boundaries are on like whether you can become enlightened and what can you eat, what kind of lifestyle can you do and stay enlightened and stuff. And the minute he had milk, his enlightenment went straight away. And basically he's been guided and shown by God and the different paths that people are, they're vegetarian / vegan, because it used to really mean the same thing for a reason. They all talk about not getting contaminated with animal consciousness, because milk, the blood of an animal, the dead meat of an animal, it contains the energy, even it's tethered to the soul of the animal that was the soul that was in the animal, that then comes into your consciousness. So it contaminates your consciousness, it descends you, and the desires and the fears and the energy of the cow or the pig, who might have been angry about what its life was, or who might have been sad or fearful about the way it was killed, is then in you, and you then act like a sad cow. Which I delete that because I don't want to put mean energies on animals, but these sayings like, oh, you're a sad cow, or you're as greedy as a pig. Yeah, that's because people are eating these animals and then they're playing out these characteristics of these animals. And so and just in general, like from health point of view and from a spiritual point of view, I've been a non-vegan and then I've been a vegan, and I've been able to see the difference in my energy, in my conscious awareness, in my light. So real vegans, once you actually go vegan, no one ever goes back. If people go back, they're either lying and they never were vegan, they're just trying to do it to ruin the path of the light, or they just weren't doing it properly, they weren't looking after themselves, and they weren't obviously doing it for spiritual reasons. So Blue Sky Project, God, send them some good energy instantly. Yeah. Natty Ninja said, we're electric and we need to eat the food charged with the sun. Exactly. That's why I went raw vegan, because you can be enlightened through just being vegan, but if you want to fast track it, eating raw is quicker because it's filled with the literal consciousness, the literal light of the sun, and the sun is the Christ. So eat the Christ like seeds, eat the Christ light, and you'll fast track yourself. Thank you, Jade, for the white light, sending you it in return. Blue Sky, thank you, I appreciate that. Literally, Natty Ninja has said that people need to look at food like energy. It's an exchange that takes place, yeah. And so also, one of the things my spiritual teacher taught me is like, when I went raw, he was like, you need to see food as the nutritional value and the energy of what it's going to give. It's no longer just like a sensory pleasure or like a drug. You need to see it as like a tool to enhance your spirituality. And so sometimes you can have like a big salad and it's gone a bit soggy and you're like, this is just not like as appetizing as you would really wish, and yet you just have to eat it because you're like, I need the nutrients because I need the light. And that's part of the the spiritual path. That's like, you really, there's obviously different levels of how on it you want to be, and you don't have to be in soggy salads just for the nutrients. Some people are happy to just kind of like eat well half the time and then eat junk food half the time, or what. Like you can, the scale is like literally you can choose where you want to be. So obviously I talk about stuff like that. It might sound a bit like, wow, that's not what I want. And you don't have to do that as an enlightened master. That's just what I do, because I take my embodying the light seriously. So I always want to be the highest, and I always want to embody the most that I can. That's the only reason why I would eat a soggy salad for the nutrients and stuff. Is it faster to manifest when enlightened? Yes, because when you're enlightened, your natural energy is higher. You must have seen like the scale of like kind of the different emotions and where the charge is on each, and enlightenment's right at the top, and then you've got like bliss, like excitation, like happiness, and then it goes down to like fear and anger being the lowest ones and stuff. So when you're enlightened, your natural state without doing anything is a lot higher than when you're not enlightened. So naturally you're already on like a higher timeline. You're already like manifesting and drawing those positive things into your life. The only thing is, which is why I'm saying about magic, is even though that's the case, you become more of a target, because your light's like in a dark room, and then the evil ones, they spot your light and they're like, hang on a minute, this person's about to escape the matrix, they're going to try and teach everyone else how to do it, let's all of us try and get them. So what I've actually experienced is more needing to protect myself spiritually after I became enlightened, but they can't get me as easily. So I've been targeted more, but I've been more protected at the same time. So that is pretty much enlightenment. And also when you are enlightened and you stay enlightened, and God can see, or the universe can see, that you are like here for the long game. You're here to serve the light. You're not here to just like mess around and not take your job seriously on this plane. Then you get given more and more power, gifts, wisdom, magic. Like those who serve God will be the ones that get given these things, because when you have such a power, such a magic, God's only going to allow those that you can trust. And the reason why enlightenment's so important is because when it turns off your emotions, you don't get angry, you don't get scared. So you're not going to have loads of magic and loads of power and get angry at someone and just flippantly cast a really bad spell on them that you shouldn't have done, because you're in your emotions, your ego, your anger. So because you're out of emotion, you're allowed more authority and more power, because you aren't going to do something stupid. You can be trusted more with the power you've got, because you're actually living and coming from a higher mind space, from like a more lightful space than from like a angry ego type thing. The way I make you consider words has been so fun. I'm really glad. I'm glad about that. Blue Sky Project, where did you say you were from again? We're all going to be meeting up very soon, I'm sure, because we're all probably like best mates in heaven, don't you think? We're probably all just like chose to come here, and then we're like, hey, we're all going to meet up on a live on like a Venus Rays evening, and we're all just going to chat about the state of the world and like enlightenment. And it's funny because like maybe in this life we'll never actually meet each other in person. Maybe we will. Maybe we have to stay on the other sides of the world than each other, because like I'm holding the fort here and you're holding the fort there, and like our lights are needed to balance that and to help with the positioning of where everyone is. And even if that's true, that's okay, because like I said, we've probably known each other for eternity, and after this life we're going to go back and hang out and like just like tell stories around heaven's campfire about our awesome tales and like the stuff that we suffered and endured on the earth plane. And we're probably going to have such a fun time just sharing all of our stories when we do go back home to God. What's the Bible verse about man not surviving on bread alone? I'm not sure, but often people talk about, when they talk about bread, it's a metaphor for something else. But it might also just be like telling you about like food, but also like I'm feeling like it's probably to do with showing you that you need to build your spiritual body like with literal light. It's not just about like material, eating food to survive. You need to be aware of the spiritual. You can't just survive on the material things in this world. The way to survive really is through spiritual. And in the Bible, Jesus says that he says you can have eternal life through him. He's not talking about in heaven, because our souls already are eternal, duh. He's talking about on this plane. So it's like, hey, become a Christ like me, walk the way. It used to be called the way, the path of liberation. The Way of Emotion is this book I was showing you guys, but the way is literally what they used to call it, is the path. So Jesus would be like, follow the way and you can become a Christ too. And then you can live forever on this plane. It's not like I'd really want to live forever with the way that the world is right now, but it's more like so that you can serve God as long as you need to, and then also when the world does go beautiful, then you would probably really enjoy to live here for as long as you want to. There's no need for everyone to eat as much as they do at Christmas, exactly. But it's kind of like it's kind of like become a spell. It's a spell, basically, because even when I first started learning about enlightenment, I remember my very first Christmas, and I wasn't eating the same food my whole family was, because I was trying to eat raw and I was trying to stay clean, and they weren't really, they just were being a bit careless with putting the food on the trays, and the animals were around and they're drinking alcohol and they're eating meat and stuff, and so I couldn't eat around them in case I got contaminated with the meat, and I couldn't drink alcohol because I was trying to be alkaline, because I was trying to save my chi, and Christmas really is all meant to be about the way that I was trying to be, and yet there was all these spells and all these ways of being around me, and I actually really wanted to just eat some of that junk food, and I wanted to just have a drink of alcohol, and just because they were the spells that was on me, because that's what you do every Christmas and there's a feeling that comes with it. But the more years that I've lived my own way, the more years I've done that, the more that the spells have worn off, where I don't have the desires anymore to do all those things that I was programmed or spelled to do. Because it's funny how we all want to do these same things on Christmas. It's all a big spell. Eat shit, feel shit, be shit, meditation, grounding, sun gazing and changing is what we need. Exactly. And I'm glad that you guys are aware of the health benefits, the health proportion or whatever to your spirituality, because unless you learn how to master your health, and not just master your health as in be healthy, because some people, we have you're grown up with diseases or there's long-term things or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about being able to master your desires of what you eat and what you put in, master what you put into yourself, being able to master your own self like that and choose healthy alternatives and heal your body physically through health is such a powerful part to spirituality. And I would not be where I am today if I hadn't have included that within my spiritual practice as well. The food you eat, the things you drink, even down to just drinking tap water versus drinking distilled water and stuff. Drinking, having organic things versus not kind of thing. So everyone is aware on some level. But then I sometimes see people teaching spirituality. This will sound sorry if this sounds really ignorant, but I do see people online, they're trying to teach about spirituality, but then they're on a live eating junk food and meat, and I'm like, how can I trust that you're a clear channel for the truth and for the light and for the God if you've eaten stuff that's got bad energy in, allowing yourself to be out of alignment, so then allowing for negative spells or demons or negative entities to work in, around and through you because you're not filled with light or you're not looking after yourself enough. So I get people do it because I used to do it too, but I don't know if I could see you as a teacher for me if you're doing that kind of thing. I think if you're going to try and if you want to be a leader or teacher or help people help themselves, and you need to always be trying to better up your own self as well, don't you? You can't just stop somewhere. Well, you can, because there's a teacher for everyone, I guess, but I personally, if I see someone eating junk food, I just feel like they need to learn to master that part of themselves before I want to well, no, because I do learn things from people that still eat junk food and stuff, so it's just a big part of spirituality that I hope that people start to embrace more. Les, when fasting, is it okay to use salt? Yeah, I like to have a little spoonful of Celtic sea salt sometimes when I'm fasting. Jade, enlightenment is remembering who you are and that the divine is within you. It's not really, but this is the thing, is because enlightenment's been it's been overused and muddied, so now people don't understand what it is, and people just say to you online, you're already perfect, you're already enlightened. You just have to remember that's not true if you're not vegan, because enlightenment's actually about physically having the Christ light within you, which you don't have automatically if you're eating a toxic lifestyle. Your body, your temple isn't clean enough to have that. So this is why people say we're born into sin, because most children are born with people who have been eating meat and haven't been clean and aren't enlightened. So we're all born and brought up in a world that isn't designed for enlightenment. And I couldn't have just pretended to myself, oh, I'm already enlightened, and become enlightened, and actually turned off my emotional system and felt my kundalini and my chi, and experienced what I've experienced post-enlightenment compared to pre-enlightenment. There's an absolute shift that you feel physically between not enlightened and enlightened. You can tell the difference, and I went back and forth so many times that I'm absolutely night and day with when I am enlightened and when I'm not. So I know that the way got me to enlightenment, but not like I wouldn't have been able to just never do the path, never embody the light, never have like eaten the correct way and like filled myself with light. I wouldn't have been able to just ignore all those things and just wait till I became enlightened. You have to actually be, you have to almost like live and be the Christ, and then the Christ comes into you, kind of thing. So I want people to learn the truth of enlightenment only so that they can actually achieve it. Because if you believe you already are enlightened but you're not, and you've never experienced it, so you don't know what it's like to be enlightened and to not be enlightened, people are just not going to know that what enlightenment is and that it's available for them. So I want people to actually to try it, experience it, so you can go, oh, that's enlightenment, okay, I get that, okay, that feels different, that feels really good. And now I know, rather than even believing me right now, even than listening to me right now, it's better for you to actually experience, and then you can know. And so people can have enlightening moments, like a aha moment or a flooding of energy, like where the kundalini is like awakened and they can feel stuff flooding in them, and they can have massive downloads and they can have these mega experiences, but that isn't what actual enlightenment is. So the actual word itself kind of been categorized under a load of different things and experiences, and Eckhart Tolle telling people that he's enlightened, but if he eats meat then he isn't. So I don't know if he does eat meat or not, but there's the word enlightenment is just maybe we need a different word for it, because it's has got a bit confusing where people don't really understand really what it is or when you experienced it. And even with the ascending your kundalini and building your people online, but they don't know when you've achieved it. Like Santos Bernacci, he teaches about it loads, and he might be enlightened, I'm not sure, probably is, but a lot of people teach about, yeah, you live this way and then eventually at some point your kundalini ascends and you become enlightened, but they couldn't tell you when that is, what it feels like, how to tell the difference, what post-enlightenment's like it gets to a point where no one's gone past it or experienced it or realised what it is to really be able to share with people, this is exactly what it is, this is what you experience. And that's what this book teaches you. But I would get the 18 plus version if you are over 18. That's the 18 plus version is the part that has enlightenment in the back, what it is, what to expect, like how to become enlightened. It's got like a colon cleanse to do, so if you do get contaminated with animal products, you can do the colon cleanse, and then it takes like 12 days for it to get out your system for you then to try again. Just having a look at the comments. I do drink distilled water, yeah. What about light workers in the dark, the ones who have to lower their vibrations to reach those that are lost? Yeah, so everyone's got like different like jobs, different roles. So there's some people who've come here to become enlightened and to hold the highest light so that they can be the ones that are the highest and collectively pull from the top. And there's some people that have come to eat meat and be on a bit of a lower level, but to be able to work with those who are still eating meat on their level and work and help pull up from their level too. So it's not that everyone has to become enlightened. It's not that everyone has to become their highest light. Some people's actual literal task is to stay and help pull from the lower, like the lower timelines and the lower planes and stuff. So me teaching you about enlightenment is kind of putting out a call, like anyone whose soul's drawn to this, let me know if you're interested, because when I found out about enlightenment, my soul was like, I want that. I instantly, it was like an absolute soul pull. That's what I wanted. So I knew that's the reason why, or that's my job at least, is to become enlightened and to be one of the enlightened masters on this plane. But also, when you're enlightened, because you're not in the ego or in your emotions, you aren't putting any negative out anymore. So if you're still in emotion, if you're still eating crap, if you're still out of balance and you're reacting negatively to things, then you're still bringing through those dark energies through your portals into this plane, which is counterproductive to what we're actually all trying to do, which is heal the traumas and stop reacting negatively to them. So you can control yourself where you stop reacting negatively. So you can be unenlightened but have self-mastery and control. But when you become enlightened, you don't need the control because it's just not there. Like your portals, your chakras, they don't have access to those lower emotional planes. So someone can hurt you in the way that you would have cried your eyes out before enlightenment, but after enlightenment, you just like, you don't feel anything. You don't feel sad, you don't cry. There's just nothing there. So yeah, like we all have different roles and we're all important on these roles. So definitely you're correct, Odette, with what you were saying. It's like there's some people that are here to kind of help from the bottom up, but there's ways of helping yourself so it doesn't feel too crap when you are having to stay like on the lower levels, because like it's heavy in the darkness and stuff. And also I wouldn't stay there if you feel like you're there because you're trying to help people, and you don't want to leave people behind. It could be that that's because of an emotional attachment rather than that's your actual soul's purpose. And so I met someone once who said that she didn't want to ascend and leave, and she didn't want to leave the earth plane until every single soul had gone from the earth. And that's called the bodhisattva or something. It's like a word used for someone who will never ascend and never become enlightened until the very last person's done, so that they know everyone's gone and then they'll finally leave. And that sounds like a very saintly thing to do, and yet actually it sounds more like, to me, it's kind of like you're trying to, the truth is, the third, this like earthly plane or the 3D, there's pretty much always going to be souls on the 3D. It's like going through classes at school. It's like staying in year 3 at school and going, yeah, I'm just going to stay here until everyone's left year 3, everyone, and no one else is in year 3. And you're like, yeah, but you've got people in the year below that are moving into year 3 once these guys have gone, so you're going to be there forever. Like, you're never going to be able to save your soul, so you're going to just stay on the 3D plane forever, because there's always going to be souls at that level needing to grow and evolve through that. So it sounds like you've been tricked into staying thinking you're doing a really good favour for everyone, when actually I believe if you ascend yourself, you can gain the wisdom and the light. You can continue to come back down again to help other people, but you staying there, it isn't serving anyone. You staying down on the 3D when the more that we can get everyone ascending up to the higher planes, the quicker we can ascend the good and the light back up to God, back up home. The whole of creation, it's like a breath, like an expansion, and then it's a retraction again. So we expanded away from God for like 2,000 years, separating from God to experience what it feels like to be separate from God and to experience darkness and basically negative. And we're now on the way back in again. So the more that we pull everyone in, the more we go back to God and we feel close to God and we have this in-breath again. So it's naturally the way that the cosmos is going. But if you stay out here going, oh no, I'm just going to wait for everyone, you might just get left behind yourself. Or we're all going that way anyway. So like because we're all interconnected, when you pull yourself in, when you shift yourself up, you're naturally pulling people up who are attached to you and connected to you as well. Blue Sky Project is ready for the new beginning. Yes. Cats are a divine femininity. Yeah. Amy, can I eat raw carrots? It's acidic and I love them. Yeah, raw carrots are fine. I eat raw carrots. I've never heard they're acidic. They don't make me feel acidic when I eat them. Sometimes you can taste like, if they're not organic, you can taste like a chemical on them, or at least the ones in the UK. I still don't really eat that much organic because when you're eating raw food, the life and the nutrients and what is in raw food is strong enough to counteract a lot of the pesticides and stuff that they do put on food. So if you couldn't afford to be getting organic stuff, or it's not convenient, or you don't have like a local farmer's market and stuff, if you had to eat non-organic stuff, I do. So I eat raw food and I don't mind eating non-organic because of that. Probably eventually I'll move to fully organic. It's always a journey and a process, refining yourself and choosing better things and stuff. So hi from Bulgaria, Caramel Wolf, hey. Rosa, there's a big spell on the world to make people hypnotized and asleep. Yeah, exactly. The whole world is governed by spells. Spells of the light and spells of the night. So often what my spiritual teacher will say to me is like, if I have a thought or if I have a desire or something, he'll be like, is that actually what you want, or is that a spell? Is that what you want, or is that someone trying to take you off the light or trying to make you work for their agenda and stuff like that? And I'm like, do you know what? Actually, yeah, like it's not really what I want. It's the spell of someone else or something else. And that is literally the spells happen all the time. Like even your angels can spell you to make a better decision, or your higher self can put a spell on you so that you do something properly or right, so that you look after yourself and stuff. The whole world is governed by magic, which is why you need to become the mage. Blue Sky Project, have a fantastic evening. See you soon. Jenny, sorry Blue Sky if you weren't leaving. I just read your comment and it read like you was leaving. So Jenny, thank you for the badge, for the heart, sorry. That's why you don't die with attachments or addictions. I'm just having a look through the comments. Could you make a video on what you just said so I remember it? Amy, let me know what it is that you wanted me to make a video on, because I'll probably just take it from this live and post it as a separate video. Would I eat eggs? No, because I would lose my enlightenment for eating eggs. So I need that energy. It's a trust, not McDonald's. It keeps lagging. Hopefully it's a bit better now. What about people who are greedy and don't eat pork? So if you are eating raw, if you're eating vegan, you're on the path. You can eat as much food as you want. You can be as greedy as you want if you're a vegan, particularly if you're a whole food or raw vegan and you're on the path to enlightenment. If anything, actually, the more you eat, especially as a raw vegan, the more nutrients you fill yourself with and the more light you fill yourself with. So you actually ascend quicker the more that you are nutritionally filled up with all that you need. So greed isn't really a sin if you're eating the light food. If you're greedy in eating fruit, then you're not gonna, like, the reason why a sin is because a sin puts you in the sine wave, which is in your emotion, which has to really be anything that's going to be acidic, anything that's got too many chemicals or hormones in that's going to put you out of balance. That's when you become in sin. Plants have spirits the same as animals, so how is it any different? They do have spirits and they are alive and conscious, but plants, they have their consciousness, I don't know whether it's any higher than animals or not, but God's designed it in a way that we can eat plants and stay enlightened, and the only reason I know is because of my experience from it. So God's given us plant medicines that can make us have spiritual experiences and meet our spirit guides and stuff. I've never known someone to eat a sausage and have a spiritual awakening and meet Jesus, but if you have certain plants or certain like mushrooms in a tea, you can have a spiritual experience and meet Jesus. So I didn't make the rules. All I've done is been taught and learned and figured out what the rules are and where the boundaries are, and that's what I'm teaching. So that's just it, really. Nettle tea for iron for the win. Yeah, and people talk about as well getting nettles, like getting the little seeds of nettles, and the seeds are meant to be really nice on a salad and stuff. Again though, if I'm talking about enlightenment, I would make sure they're washed thoroughly so they don't have any insects in them, so that they don't have any bird poo on them, so that they're clean, so that my temple stays clean. Lunar cycle, hi! Sarah says, yes, we go on diets and reward ourselves with a cheat day of gluttony and bad foods. Yeah, what I would say is I've actually had, when I first went raw, I did like 4 months of raw. It took I did like 2 weeks at first, then I went back to my cooked food. Then I set myself this task of do 4 months, because my spiritual teacher said to start off your enlightenment, you need to heal yourself internally. So you need to go raw for 4 months. This will shortcut your enlightenment and it'll heal you from anything that you weren't healed from in the past. And I didn't think I'd be able to do it at all, because I was a junk food vegan and I lived off sausage rolls and pizzas and stuff. So like I just never thought I could ever be raw. And when I did go 4 months, I did it. It was amazing. I had like a really massive spiritual, like it turned on my psychic gifts. I was able to feel energy and stuff. I was having lucid dreams, like I was really filled with life. I felt amazing. Everyone told me like, wow, you're glowing, you look awesome. There's something about you. It's the light and the energy that I had within me, and I felt so good. And then as soon as I'd hit that 4 month mark, the day after I was like, all right, I want to eat junk food for like 3 weeks, because I used to always love eating junk food, and then I ate it, and after 2 days you feel like pure shit, and you're like, do you know what? I actually don't even like eating junk food anymore. So I also would have like eaten really well and then you fall off the wagon. The most important thing is just getting back onto the wagon. Eventually, whether you want to eat junk food for a week or two, I used to find it's better to just get it out your system. So don't just, if you just have a day and then you're like, no, I can't, and you go back onto the raw, but then a few days later you're like, oh, should I just eat junk food again? Just get it out your system, do a week or so, like eat your junk food, wait till you feel like pure shit and you absolutely just don't want any more junk food, and then you'll go back on the raw and stay it. And now, like, I don't fall off the wagon anymore, but it's been years of on and off, like, and then to the point where you don't want any junk food anymore. Leah, hey. Lottie sent the heart. Thank you. Nessa, lovely to see you. Sarah, thank you. I look like a real Disney princess. That's lovely. Kailina has sent a brat. Claire sent a heart. Thank you. How do you hold the glow around your kingdom? How do you hold the glow around your kingdom? You'll have to let me know what you mean by that. Leah, I love you too. Plants don't have a nervous system. They're here to nourish us in a natural way. They don't have the same nervous system as we do, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel pain, because the difference between emotional pain and physical pain, they both feel the same. Emotional pain can hurt your heart just as much as physical pain. Now, emotional pain is literally just energy. It's an energetic pain. And plants can feel energy. They've got an energy body. They're aware. So who's to say that plants can't feel pain? Because if they can experience or sense pain in a way, then they can feel pain. So they don't have the same central nervous system and brain like we do, but they have their own, because they do create, like, they release certain chemicals to stop predators, and they'll try and like heal wounds with certain saps and stuff. So I eat plants, and I accept that plants get killed for my food. So that's just what it is. And like I was saying, like, I would always say the best, most karma-free way of eating is being a fruitarian and just eating the fruit, because then no one has to die for it. That's perfect. So yeah, but they are here really as our food for now, until we evolve further into then eating just the fruit, and maybe even going breatharian as well. So Jenny, I didn't mean that as being a greedy eater, but being greedy with money or other material things. You're so right. And also, just like, if you look at, like Thanksgiving, and Americans will all get together and they'll just like give thanks for life and for all these small, like, beautiful things that God's gifted us. And then I'm pretty sure it's like that Black Friday sale the following day or something, and then everyone's fighting over like TVs, and everyone goes crazy for these sales. And it's like some people just like, they don't embody what it truly is to be like a thankful, grateful person. They'll just have one day as an excuse, and then they'll live the rest of life. Oh my gosh, that little French baguette thing was really cute. Yeah, some people just like, it's like just going to church on Sunday and then being an arsehole for the rest of the week. Amy shared the live, thank you. Bish sent a treasure box with 20 coins. Thank you, Claire, the heart. I like you so much, for real. I like the way that you said that. Leah said, I went to the Conchno Stone in Scotland and the Stone Circle in Glasgow after watching you. Yes. Amazing. So the Stone Circle is aligned to Taurus, so you would have picked up the Taurus energy. Conchno Stone, where is that? Because I wonder whereabouts in Scotland that is. Bish, you're so welcome. Potato in Paris is what you sent. That was so cute. Lottie, team bracelet. Thank you for these. I'm glad I've caught up with your comments, because I was lagging a bit behind. So this has been fun. What I might do is just share with you guys. I don't know if you'd be interested. There's a colon cleanse that you can do, and it just takes a day to do. Their colons. Well, you can. There's one that takes a day to do, and it's really good, and it cleanses you out and just like basically gets rid of and flushes out any like junk food or meat or anything you've been having in your system, because it can get stuck there for years. And then you can't, like, if you're trying to become enlightened, or if you're just trying to be on your spiritual path, if you've got dead animals still stuck in you from years, or if you've got like refined carbs or sugar or things stuck in your system that's stopping and blocking you from absorbing healthy food and like clouding your judgment and stuff, then it's good to get it flushed out. So I was going to share this little colon cleanse with you. I'm sure you can use prune juice. So It's called water distilled prune juice, and you can basically go to like Tesco or Sainsbury's, and it's in the car. It's in the it's like on the shelf rather than in the fridge. So it's like long life juice on the shelf. Bish, sending positivity. Thank you. Leah's the Conchno stone is from Stone Age and has a star map on it. I need to have a look where this on. Conchno stone. Scotty. What? Oh. I'm going to have a look. I don't think I've been there. So, let me have a look where that is. Ooh, it's a new one. Thanks for that. I'm going to definitely go and have a look. Okay, so with the colon cleanse, prune juice, but if you're from America or whatever, check the ingredients. Don't get prune juice that's got sugar in or anything like that. You just need pure prune juice. And you need 1 to 2 litres, so it'd be like two cartons of the prune juice. And then you need some cold pressed oil, like rapeseed oil or olive oil, but it needs to be cold pressed. And then you need like either some cold pressed apple juice or some cold pressed orange juice. So at the minute you can get cold pressed apple and orange juice from Asda. It's Asda's own, and it's literally just Asda's own orange juice. It's not like if they have like a Savers range, it's not the Savers range, it's just the standard one. And it's basically says like squeezed, 100% squeezed orange juice, not from concentrate, and it doesn't say anything about being pasteurized either. So I found some Asda that you can get with the orange juice, and the apple juice I'd probably get, like it says here, like 2 to 4 litres of that as well. So what you do for the cleanse, I'm going to show you this, but it will be backwards because it's reversed. But I'm going to show you and talk you through what you do. So it just takes a day, but I would advise you to take the day off work or do it on a weekend, because if you're just going to be shitting all day, but not just like normal poos. It's going to be bum wheeze. It's like literally just like you sit on the loo and it's like water fires out your bum like a fire hydrant or something. It's pretty grim, but it cleanses you out fully. Prune juice, I'm surprised it doesn't have a little warning on the label just to say, hey, by the way, you're really going to shit your pants if you drink too much of this. What you do, this is take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can probably like on a editing software, just flip that photo so that you can actually read it properly. But what you do is you start your cleanse early. This says like 5 a.m, 5:30 a.m, but say you want to do it like 6 or whenever it is. It keeps freezing. Let me see. One sec. I'm going to turn the light off a bit because my phone's getting a bit hot. I just wonder if... Leah, you're welcome. Did you guys... I'm going to just hold this up again. So, meanwhile on Earth, so are you. Thank you. Eugene the Rose, thank you. So the items you need... what you'll need, 100% prune juice. So the prune juice, you need 1 to 2 litres of prune juice, but it needs to be 100%. It's called like water extracted prune juice. It's literally just the standard prune juice carton you'll find in Sainsbury's or Tesco, but it's in the shelf aisle. It's not in the fridges. It's in like the long life juice in the cardboard cartons on the shelf. Make sure it's got no sugar in or anything, making sure it's just 100% prune juice. Then you need a cold pressed oil, like a cold pressed olive oil or a cold pressed rapeseed oil. And then you'll need some cold pressed orange or apple juice, which I was saying you can get from Asda. It's Asda's own. It doesn't say cold pressed on it, but it says it's 100% squeezed, not from concentrate. And it doesn't say anything about pasteurised. If it's pasteurised, it's definitely cooked. If it doesn't say pasteurised, it's possible it's cold pressed. You need like 2 to 4 litres of the juice. What you do to start is you start off the whey by having 500 millilitres of prune juice. So you neck some prune juice and you wait half an hour. This is what this timetable is that I was showing you guys. So you wait half an hour. Then you have some of the fruit juice, so like the apple juice, and you have 2 tablespoons of the oil. And then half an hour later you have 250 ml of water. Half an hour later you have some more apple juice. Half an hour later you have water. Half an hour later you have apple juice. Half an hour later you have water. So you basically wait half an hour intervals for half the whey, having like apple water, apple water, apple water, and then you repeat the whole thing again. So then you have another 500 millilitres of prune juice. It's the prune juice that's going to make you crap. The other stuff is there to just kind of like give you like energy throughout the whey whilst you're crapping. By the second half, you should have like done it like you should have like actually gone to the toilet big time. If you haven't, then you have to have more prune juice. It takes a day to do, and by the end of it, you're like, by the end of it, you're probably just a bit tired and just like ready to have an early night kind of thing. But then, no, you don't eat when you're doing this cleanse. It's just literally, that's all you do is the prune juice mixed in with the apple and water and the oil. I appreciate I've not really explained it in thorough detail, but if you could just take a screenshot of that, you'll be able to see the exact amounts and like the timetable for it and stuff. You don't have to start at 5:30 in the morning. Whoever's wrote that is crazy. I probably start mine at like 7 or something, and then probably around 7 p.m. Around 7 p.m. I'm like done and ready for bed. And what I also do as well is I get myself into ketosis before I do it, because I find that it turns off your hunger then, so you're not hungry throughout the whey. Jenny, thank you for the aura point in the book. If you aren't in ketosis, it's possible you have like, you'd be hungry throughout the whey whilst you're doing it. So the ketosis, the book, I've got a book on my website. It's on like my link tree. It's £4. It's called Matrix Magic Leo. It's a green book, and there's like 21 different ways to trigger ketosis in there using magic. So I would just use one of those magical ways, like I'd say a spell, I'd say one of the spells, and trigger ketosis in the morning just before I do the cleanse. And then you get in keto, it aligns your chakras, it puts you in a better mood, it puts you in balance, it turns off your addictions, it turns off your hunger. And then when you do the whole cleanse, you're just in such a better state throughout the day. When I said it turns off your addictions, I mean it, because it turned off my smoking addiction to cigarettes and to weed as well. So it was ketosis that saved me from being a weed addict my whole life and being a cigarette addict my whole life. So yeah, I think my phone, like, I don't know if it's like still, I don't know if it's still lagging, but my phone's quite hot, you see, because I've been on for quite some time. Hey China. Might just turn the light off fully for a second, just see. It's not really hot though, the light. Leah, yes, go for it. China, thank you. I'm glad that you do. I'm going to just like shut some. You live on Heaven's Gate. China said, is there spiritual meaning to finding red string in random places? It's happened a few times. Not that I know of, but I would ask your guides and your angels and just try and sit in meditation and just be like, are you trying to show me something? Because if you're like really noticing it and it's like something that you're like, why do I keep noticing this red string? There's not like a common known thing that what red string would represent. So what that means instead then is it might be something more personal for you, where it's some kind of a message that you will be able to understand what the message is or what it's trying to show you or tell you. If you tune in, is there like, do you already know, like, is there something about red string that like your grandma used to always like tie red bows on the Christmas tree? Or is there something that you already know that red string means something to you? Or is that really random, in which it's really random? Yeah, so I don't know, and it might be nothing. But if it is that you're being drawn to it, like you're just like really realizing it, you're like, why? What is it trying to tell me? The best way is to, yeah, definitely go into meditation and just see if anything comes up around it. So Leah's asking, why do they? It's a Roman fort. Why did they call it Heaven's Gate on the star map? I think it's because there is in the heavens, in the stars, I think there might actually be a constellation called Heaven's Gate or something. So the whole map just reflects all of the constellations and the names that they call the constellations. I'm going to see if I can get the Scottish mega map up. By the way, if you are you able to travel around, Leah? Do you have like a van or something that you could travel around and like stay in whilst you're megalith hunting? Because we're in Libra, and Libra at the minute, Libra is the Isle of Skye. If you've ever been to the Isle of Skye, there's a couple of castles on the way to Isle of Skye. It's called like Eileen Dunnon Castle or something, and there's another one on the Isle of Skye, and those two are aligned to Libra. And so because we're in Libra light on at the minute, we're in Libra season. If you basically follow the seasons and go to the land that's aligned to those constellations, and you touch the castles or touch the megaliths that are aligned in that constellation, you'll be receiving the magic and the light of this season. And it's like super powerful. It's like shortcutting your ascension as a mage and like a powerful creator and stuff. So it'll give you massive like spiritual upgrades and awakenings if you do follow the land as it goes. Too far, you'd love to go there. You live in Kilseth. But what I'm pretty sure we're in Libra, Scorpio's up like the Hebrides, I think, and then I think as it goes to like Capricorn and Aquarius, it goes back down to like south of Edinburgh, so they might be a bit closer for you to go maybe in like January, February time, when it gets round to there. But if you live in Glasgow, then definitely going around Taurus time is a great place, going to those stone circles. I'm just trying to find where Kilsith is. Kilsith. Have you grown up in Scotland? Are you from Scotland? It's meant to be as well, like, I don't know if it's much further up, but there's meant to be like an abandoned like mansion or something near you that looks really cool. I just can't think where it is. You're from Yorkshire, 4 years in Scotland, so you've moved up to Scotland from Northern England. That's the same as me. I went to uni in Leeds, but really grown up in Manchester, and then Scotland was my calling. And I just absolutely love it. I can't believe how beautiful it is up here with the forests and stuff. It's just like, it's just next level, just so beautiful. I am in Scotland. I don't tell people where I'm from really because, well, I don't tell people where I'm living because I don't know, anyone could figure out, like, if they saw something in the back of your video or something and they were able to like track signposts or whatever, I don't know, like, I think sometimes it's better if you're like online and stuff to just not really share exactly where you are. But I'm in the northwest of Scotty. J Solstick is in Glasgow, but you're going to travel up north of Scotland. Do you recommend anywhere in Scotland? I would recommend the whole of Scotland. I don't rate Aberdeen that much, to be honest, but I do rate, I really rate Argyll and Bute, which is actually quite close to Scotland. It's like, quite close to Glasgow, sorry, if you just like, it's on the west coast, just north of Glasgow, but like around south of Oban, it's called Kilmartin. And that's just like so many megaliths, so many stone circles, really beautiful scenery and stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it, Leah? Ever been to any of the Isles? Yeah, so I've been to the Isle of Lewis, to Orkney, to the Isle of Skye. It's not really an isle though because it's still attached to the mainland. I've been to Isle of Mull, Isle of Iona. Is that all? That might be all, but I just really love them. The only thing is, I love the islands, but I can't imagine living there. Like, it's very like small time living. Like if you're just on a little island and you've only got really like one or two like grocery shops, and they aren't really like there aren't really a lot of like foods to choose from, and just living on a small island, I can't imagine people growing up on an island and just living there. Like if I didn't have the internet and I didn't have access to like the world and I lived on an island, a small island, I don't know. It snows deep too. It does, but what I really love is like guaranteed snow every winter. It's always raining. Come on, I'm from Manchester. There's no way it's raining more here than it is in Manchester. Scotland are just absolutely like, basically when I lived in Manchester I had to move house. I was like not really getting kicked out of the place I was renting, but they did need the place, so like they didn't kick me out immediately, but I had time to find somewhere. And I was like, wow, I can literally go anywhere. I can move wherever I want to go. So I was like, I basically travelled the whole of the UK doing megalith hunting anyway, but I thought I'm just going to have a look at houses all over because I could move anywhere. There's no limits. And so I was like, I found somewhere really nice in Wales. I love Wales as well. And I was like tripping around Wales, and I'd never been to Scotland. And I found somewhere in Wales. I almost got this place in Wales. And then I was called to go up to Scotland on like a visit. I went to Scotland and I was like, oh my gosh, it's absolutely like, it's next level. Like I thought Wales was nice, Scotland is absolute next level. And I was like, wow, it's absolutely beautiful. And I just like, something told me you're going to be moving up here. So I was like, God, if you need me, if you need me to move up here, and if you want me to move up here, then you're going to have to do something to make this Wales house fall through, because I was like set to be getting it. So I was like, God, if I'm meant to be coming up to Scotland, now that I've seen how absolutely beautiful it is, you need to do something to this Wales house. And then the Wales house did fall through, so I was like, right, I need to go to Scotland. My parents they were a bit gutted at first because it was much further from them than they would have hoped. But I put together a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on why I'll come and see them all the time and they can let me go, kind of thing. And they fell for it. So, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, touching the stones, it really does, like, it's amazing. You can get stoned from just touching the stones because the energy is just so high, and most of the megalithic stones are built on ley lines. So they're built aligned to the star constellations and built on the energy, the Earth's literal, like, energetic veins. So they've just got the best energy. And the light and the power of them literally fills you, and it just, like, kicks negative energy out of you. It just literally, like, gets rid of stuff and fills you with so much light. And light contains wisdom and information and magic. And so when you get new light, it programs your cells with that light, it programs your DNA with that light, and whatever information that light was carrying, whether it's from your ancient ancestors that has been in the land, and whether it's from the stars and it's like upgrades and spiritual wisdom and stuff, you get that light within you. It basically becomes part of your aura. It then, like, fills and imbues every single part of you with that new energy, that new light, and you become that because it's integrated within you. That's why people say what you consume you become, because it literally just integrates into your field, and your field is the energetic version of you. So whatever's in your field and stays in your field eventually condenses into your vessel and becomes a part of you physically. And so that's why disease and illness manifests from the energetic first. That's why Reiki and energy healing works, because it gets rid of the bad energy in you. It pulls out the darkness that is stopping and blocking you, and then it stops it from manifesting into something physical. Leah, I'm glad that you enjoy my stone videos. I've actually got, like, a mini series on YouTube. I've got like eight episodes or something so far. It's called Magic Music Medicine, I think, and it's like a vlog where I'm at the different stone constellations, probably mostly around Scotland. I visit different ones and I kind of, like, vlog about being at them and going to them and, like, what I'm doing there and stuff. So you might find that interesting. I don't know if they're a bit boring or interesting or not, so I've not done one in ages, but it'd be interesting if you were into these types of videos. If you did find them interesting, then comment and let me know so that I know that it's worth doing more. So I've got my 21 Ray challenge starting on the 1st. I will do, Leah. I was just saying I've got sorry if you did hear, but I've got, like, a series on YouTube called Magic Music Medicine that's like longer videos of me being at the stones, if you found that interesting. Yeah, I've got my 21 Ray challenge starting on the 1st of October, so if you did want to join us, I'd love to have you there. Have a look at the tickets on my the link in my profile. And also on the 22nd of September, I'm going to do a live on my Facebook, and I'm going to be talking about my journey through anxiety, and also like how to heal anxiety and stuff. I'm going to be reading more out of this The Way of Emotion book as well. Lower, hey, I'm good, are you? So yeah, those are things that I've got coming up. My phone's on 6% battery and it's not charging because it's overheating, so I might just have to call it an evening. But yeah, Leah, find me on Facebook. It's just Gabby Zakara. Lo, I hope your healing journey is going well. Loa, thanks for the share and likes. I hope your healing journey is going well. Loa shares some awesome videos about the power of the mind and being able to heal. And just literally heal yourself through your literal mind, your thoughts, your words, your energy, through living the life of light. Right, I'm gonna go because I've got 4% battery and my phone's not charging because it's overheated. So it's been so fun to share with you guys. I'll definitely come back soon. Thanks for everyone, all 15 of you who stayed on till the end. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you again soon. Appreciate you all. Like you all. Ta-ra.